The doors blew at dawn. Agents moved from the president's suite to a quiet research wing, then out to a Henderson warehouse where the pink powder was stacked under wellness labels. Inside the office, $1.2 million cash and a rifle. Inside the logs, years of shipments that never hit security. We'll tell this hour by hour. The 5 administrators pulled from duty, the 34 couriers who thought they were helping students, and the encrypted ledgers that point beyond one campus. The question isn't who sold drugs. It's who built the system that made it normal. Why does a university president's office keep $1.2 million in banded cash, a rifle locked 2 steps from the desk, and a ledger that deletes packages before they exist? That question is why the doors came off at 4:42 a.m. Not to catch a fad, but to test whether the institution itself had become the cloak. The entries started in sync. One team split the suite: office safe, file hutch, server closet. Another moved through the research wing 2 buildings over, using a maintenance corridor that bypassed student areas. A third hit a Henderson warehouse with plastic banners that read "Wellness" and a loading dock that saw more freight at night than during business hours. Radios stayed short. Clocks mattered. What they pulled in the first minute set the tone for the next 6 hours. Agents expected party residue and sloppy cash. Instead, they found a system built to make odd look normal. The office doors had layered access, badge plus pin, then a key cylinder that only 2 people signed for in the last year. Cabinets used dual key locks, the kind you see in pharmacies. The ledger on the desk referenced shipments by short code and time window, but those codes never showed up on campus security alerts. The log had gaps that weren't errors. They were instructions. The first sweep turned up 3 kilograms of pink cocaine in climate bags tucked behind a printer panel, an office safe with neat stacks of currency wrapped in bank bands, 3 encrypted USB drives in a false bottom drawer, and a long gun registered to a household member of the office's primary occupant. On camera, nothing looked out of place. On paper, everything fit. In practice, the pieces only made sense together. Across the quad, the research complex told a parallel story using soft words. Wellness kits, peer support supplies, labels that wouldn't raise a flag if a supervisor skimmed the manifest. Intake happened at odd hours, pre-dawn or just after midnight, with door swipes tied to pre-cleared IDs that skipped secondary screening. Packages moved around the main scanner and went straight to a storage room with a refrigerator code and a clipboard that never left the hook. The clipboard had totals. The computer had none. Forensics pulled threads fast. Currency serial numbers matched deposits traced in bursts every quarter. Then again 2 days before major grant cycles. Shipping barcodes from the wellness pallets repeated in a pattern that lined up with access logs from the mailroom and the research intake door. When they overlaid the data, the dates stacked year over year. This was not a lucky find. It was a schedule. One entry stood out. Wellness drop C19, a 5 a.m. window. The freight bill showed a matching barcode and a driver's signature routed to the research dock. The campus mail log for that morning had slots for every delivery but that one, as if the sheet was printed after the fact to make room for blanks. The ledger listed received by intake, initialed with the same 2 letters that approved overnight access that week. The warehouse pivot sealed the theme. Pallets wrapped tight in clear plastic, topped with yoga mats and herbal teas, hid 67 pounds of pink cocaine and 22 pounds of fentanyl under a second layer. The drug dogs didn't need the labels. The shrink wrap told its own story. Heat sealed twice. Outer film printed with wellness branding. Inner film plain and factory tight. The bills of lading used the same short codes as the office ledger, linking warehouse intake to campus entries. What did agents actually find? A synchronized paper and digital trail that proved a protected pipeline. Cash in known denominations, product in known weights, and a deletion scheme woven into daily routines so the system cleared the path on its own. If the office ledger revealed what flowed, the administrators who owned the logins would explain how it moved without ever touching an alarm, and why the blanks were as important as the entries. How do 34 students end up moving boxes they never open? And who signs the line that turns a cartel truck into a campus delivery with a wellness sticker and a prepaid invoice? That's where the pipeline stops looking like contraband and starts looking like policy. The paperwork uses soft names, innovation funding, micro-scholarships, student wellness buys, and those labels carry money cleanly through procurement. The payments break into small authorizations, the kind a busy approver hits without a second read. A help email confirms pickup windows. A reimbursement code lands in a portal. The job looks like service hours with a stipend, not a courier route. 5 senior administrators sit at the choke points the system depends on. Each has tenure long enough to set habits others won't question. One controls shipping exceptions and can clear a package that fails a scan as program sensitive. One edits digital logs after close, posting the public version that supervisors see. A third assigns grant disbursements and can flag a student as funded for innovation outreach. A fourth approves after-hours access requests across buildings, linking badges to time windows that align with off-peak intake. The fifth reconciles finance lines to wellness inventories, signing off that purchases match what the campus says it handed out. Together, those roles line up like a relay team. Their map is simple once you trace a box. The first gatekeeper greenlights a pallet that would stall at scanners. The second trims entries so the manifest loses a line before it becomes official. The third pushes small grants to students who will distribute kits as part of a peer program. The fourth opens doors at odd hours so the handoff misses casual traffic. The fifth closes the books so the totals never raise a red flag. Each step looks routine alone. Run together, it creates a lane no one questions because every screen shows green. Students get recruited through service learning credits and wellness outreach tables. A coordinator says the campus needs help moving kits or peer support materials to partner sites. The forms mention confidentiality because they involve health-related items. Pickup happens at the mailroom or a side door with a designated sticker. Boxes have color-coded dots that match short code texts sent the morning of the run. A QR tag scans at the loading point, not the destination, so the system shows delivered before the box leaves the lot. Drivers use pre-cleared IDs to wave through the dock, and the addresses include off-campus storage tied to a Connected Officials LLC, listed as a community partner. Money explains why the gears kept turning. Over several budget cycles, $28.7 million moved through innovation and wellness line items. The totals break into sub-awards, grant stipends, and bulk buys of kits. Transfers land in accounts that sit close to student aid but are treated like program expenses. Those flows coincide with deposits traced back to a Sinaloa subgroup, not as single lumps, but as structured amounts that match the serial ranges tied to earlier cash seizures. The timing lines up with quarters and grant deadlines, then spikes before academic breaks when couriers can move more without attention. One student's route shows the pattern clearly. She receives a text with a time, a color dot, and a QR code. She signs out 2 stress kits and drives to a North Las Vegas storage unit listed as a partner site. She scans the QR at pickup and drops the boxes with a keypad code someone else texted. Weeks later, agents pull encrypted ledgers from that unit. The entries match her drops to deposits, down to the minute, and include the same short code stamped in the office ledger earlier that morning. When agents asked who could make entries vanish, the answer fit the architecture. The 5 gatekeepers built the shield. Clearance for odd packages, edits that clean logs, reconciliations that make numbers match, approvals that open doors, and intake that pre-labels boxes as wellness, not risk. With the shield exposed, the next move wasn't just to cuff people at desks. Programs went on ice, badges went dead, and the trace lines ran beyond one campus and into the network that fed it. The threat wasn't grams in a box. It was a machine that disguised contraband as care, converted wellness into cover, and monetized trust like a budget line. That system let a cartel operate under campus lights while everyone thought they were helping. So ask for audits that follow money and movement. Demand to see mailroom pathways, badge approvals, edit histories, and who signs reconciliations. Parents, students, staff. Verify the gatekeepers, not just the labels. If legitimacy can be weaponized, vigilance has to be policy. The next ledger will live in a cloud account, synced at midnight, and the blanks will look like compliance,